Have you been trying to decide whether you should lose fat or gain muscle first? This is a huge question that so many people, so many clients that I've talked to, people in the gym, all over the place, are always asking themselves, should I focus right now on gaining muscle or losing fat? Or maybe you've already decided which one you want to try, which one is your goal, and you're trying to figure out how to go about doing that. Stick with me, and in this video, I'm going to teach you and talk all about gaining muscle versus losing fat. Is there a difference between the two, and how to go about accomplishing each one for more optimum results? So stick with me till the end, and you're going to learn all about how to accomplish your goal. What's up, guys? This is Ryan from No Limits Fitness Coaching, and I'm just here to talk to you about a topic that is really on a lot of people's minds. They're constantly trying to figure out, or asking me even, should I really start losing weight right now or building muscle? How can I do either of those, or is it possible to even do both at the same time? That is a huge bit of controversy in the realm of fitness as we speak. They're always talking about gaining muscle, losing fat at the same time. Is it possible? Some people act like it's the unicorn that doesn't really exist. We're going to talk all about it today. The things we're going to talk about too are how to prioritize. Can you do both of these at the same time if that's what your goal is also? Today we're going to talk mostly about the training aspect, the working out, the exercises that you choose. Many times the question in people in the gym is, if I'm trying to lose fat, what should my workout be? Or if I'm trying to get big or muscular or anything like that, trying to put on some muscle, what should my workout be to accomplish that? And are there any differences between the two types of workouts in the first place? To answer that, I'm going to go with an answer that many of you probably won't like. It depends. Quite honestly, the way that you go about working out, it does have to do a little bit with what your goals are. You know, if you want to get stronger or bigger or lose fat, you might have to change your workout in little bits here and there. We're going to talk about the ways that you can go about accomplishing the goal that you've set out for yourself. We talked about at the very beginning whether it's possible to lose fat and build muscle at the exact same time. The short answer is yes, it is. Now, both with nutrition and with exercise, with the training aspect, it's best to prioritize things. It's best to figure out exactly what you want and prioritize that aspect in your training. It doesn't mean that you can't accomplish both of these things at the exact same time. So why don't we dive into the training aspect a little bit more? What are some of the workouts? What are some of the exercises that we need to focus on or look at when putting together a training program for both of these goals? The type of training we're going to start off with today is that of building muscle gain. So when you're putting together a program, a training program to build muscle, there's a couple things that we need to focus on, to prioritize. You want to make sure that in your workout you're looking at compound movements. The big movements really is what we kind of like to say. Things such as squats, bench press, deadlift. You know, if you stick to these big movements, ones that you're working multiple muscles at the same time, that's going to help you to put muscle on. So if you think about those big three, you can add in exercises such as a overhead shoulder press with a barbell or with dumbbells. There's a whole list of workouts, of exercises that you can do that are compound movements, work a little bit more than just one muscle at the same time. This is going to help activate a lot of the hormones in your body, things like growth hormone, testosterone, that will help you to then build the muscle. Once you've chosen the exercises that you want to focus on in your program, we also need to worry about the intensity and really going to failure. How often we're going to failure and pushing that intensity in our workouts. There's a ton of videos and people out there saying that you don't have to go to failure. You don't have to push that hard. Just stimulate the muscles, and that's all you need. Talk to anybody who's put on muscle, and I promise you they'll tell you that's not true. You have to push it, okay? You need to be ready to work every single time you pick up the weights. Be ready to push yourself. Push the intensity and go to failure at least a couple times during your workout. When I say failure, I mean you literally couldn't do another rep by yourself. Absolute failure. Yes, by pushing that intensity, by pushing it to failure at least a few times throughout the workout, you're going to force the muscles to then grow. Now, there's a lot of nutrition things that we're going to cover in a following video, but really to start the body working, start the body and building the muscle it needs, you need to push the intensity in your workouts. Another thing that you need to do after you've chosen the exercises, you know that you have to go to full intensity, full failure at least periodically in your workouts. You need to give yourself enough rest in between sets. That means when you're pushing hard, maybe you're one of your top sets, you need to give yourself probably a couple minutes to gather yourself, let the muscle fully recover before you go on to that next lift. If you don't, the muscle then will not have the full stimulation, won't have the full strength to be stimulated in the way that it needs to grow to its full potential. Now, you don't want to go too long. Many times in strength training, strength athletes that are looking for just strength, they wait a long time, 5-6 minutes even. If you're looking to build muscle, you don't want to go that long. Think about probably 1.5 to 3 minutes in that window between sets. Just enough time to get that rest, but stay stimulated for that muscle. So when we think about muscle gaining and making that our priority, again, the workouts have to be compound exercises, full intensity, with enough rest between sets to allow yourself to recover properly. If you focus on those things, then during your workouts, you're going to make sure that you're prioritizing that muscle building potential that your body, your program, has built into it. So now why don't we talk about training for fat loss? Is there a difference training for fat loss? You may have talked to a lot of trainers or people that just think they know about fitness, and they might tell you that as soon as you go towards fat loss, you need to lighten the weight, work out faster, work out longer. Well, this is true to an extent. Studies have shown that there really is not that big of a need to change your workouts as drastically as many people do. Remember, the more muscle fibers you have, the more fat loss you're going to accomplish. And much of the fat loss that you attain will be because of nutrition, will be because of the meal plan that you have set in place also. There are some things that you can worry about or focus on in your training to make sure that you're getting the most out of it for a fat loss routine. One of the things that you can do during your workouts is push the tempo just a little bit more. Instead of the 1.5 to 3 minute rest periods between your sets, think about maybe shortening that just a little bit. Don't worry about focusing or going like 30 seconds. But if you're like at a minute between sets, keeping that heart rate elevated just maybe a little higher, you can help to maximize the work that you're doing in the gym. It's going to help keep that heart elevated. Those calories continue to burn a little bit more than what they would have if you let your heart rate drop a little bit more. Now, again, don't go from one set to the next with like a 10 to 20 second break. Your muscles still need to grow. They still need to have the stimulation and rest to be able to grow a little bit so that you can keep burning fat. That fat loss will come if you have more muscle. Keep that in mind. Now, the routines, though, can be fairly similar. When we think of a routine for muscle building, we talked about heavy compound movements. You can still stick with those exercises as well when you're going for fat loss. Don't be afraid to still do squats, bench press, deadlift, shoulder press, things like that are going to put on muscle. What you might pay attention to a little bit more is still add in some of those a little bit more full body movements, something like a kettlebell clean, or things that get your body working hard. Elevate that heart rate just a little bit more. Now, don't make your whole workout that, because you don't want to take away the muscle building. You still want it to be strength training as well. But add in a few of those exercises might help you in this manner. Many people back off the intensity when they start focusing on losing fat. Don't do that. That's the biggest mistake you can make. Keep the weights as high as you can. If you're still strong enough to bench a certain amount of weight, bench that certain amount of weight. Now, you might find, because you're on a caloric deficit, which is what we're going to talk about later, but because you're in this caloric deficit, you don't have a lot of nutrients in your body, you might not be able to continue to have the same strength. Or you might not be able to have that same strength for as long as you could before. So don't be afraid to lower the volume of training. Many times people up the volume thinking that that's what's going to help them by lowering the intensity and upping the volume. Keep the intensity where it should be. Just the exact same for building muscle. But if you have to, lower the volume just a tad. Make sure that you keep track of how strong that you're staying. If you find that you're losing strength week after week, especially if it's very drastic changes in strength, you might have to drop the weights a little bit. You might have to lower the volume a little bit. Just pay attention to your body. Your body will tell you the way that it's responding. If you push it too hard, your fat loss might actually stall. So you need to be careful of how strong you're going or how strong you are at that time. And again, that plays a lot into nutrition, which we will talk about in the next video to help you guys out. What we talked about to pay attention to for weight loss, the type of training that you should do. Again, remember, the intensity should stay high. Lower the volume if you have to, just a little bit. Continue to focus on the compound, heavy movements. Still go to failure at least a couple times during your workout. And pay attention to your strength. Pay attention to how your body is responding. If you need to make small, minor changes to your program, do so again with small changes. Let it go for a few weeks and see how your body responds to those changes. But overall, the way you train for fat loss and the way you train for muscle gain should be very, very similar. I change very few things in my clients' programs when we're changing their goals also. The majority of what you're going to change is in nutrition. And that's what we're going to talk about in our next video, is how you can focus on either building muscle or losing fat, or how to go about doing those at the same exact time. And yes, I'm going to tell you right now, you can do it at the same time. It just takes a little bit of know-how, some guidance, and I promise you, you can put those two together. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I hope you found value in it. if you guys like it, if you found something you can add to your program, possibly tomorrow or very soon, to help you get in the best shape of your life, get the results that you've been looking for out of your program, hit that thumbs up button for me. Show me that this is the kind of video that you guys need, the kind of video that you guys want to see or hear about. Also, hit that subscribe button, the bell notification, and I will make sure to keep you guys updated with all of our videos that help you to stay or get in the best shape of your life. I hope you guys are all doing great, and I will see you next time.